What's up, everyone? Criddle here, and I know we have beaten this into the ground, and I'm tired of talking about it. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it, but hopefully, this is the last time we have to talk about this issue because it seems like they have taken a step in resolving this going forward. So, the VR CEO made another statement here at 11:20 or 11:02 a.m. yesterday. In the above announcement I stated, and they stated this right here. The above announcement that they're referring to is this one right here, where they stated that the alleged allocations story was completely false. And then down here, they made some other statements. One of those statements is the Pantheon team members have always been close to the community. We enjoy the interactions. Unfortunately, sometimes that can create a perception of favored treatment. We have clear policies in regard to this, but sometimes perception is difficult to dispel. We are reflecting on this conundrum and may make adjustments. And reflect, we have. So basically, they're saying that, there were some things that needed to happen, and we are making those changes. As our community approaches 100,000 users, how we interact with you clearly needs to change. Informal relationships, chumming around, and joking with the community is no longer tenable or appropriate. This will mean less instantaneous response and chatter and serious, measured, factual language in our communications. Furthermore, communications will be streamlined with one individual verifying official statements for facts and consistency. That is huge right there, where finally they have one person being a spokesperson to us. We don't have information coming from 5 or 6 different people, and that information is not necessarily, up to date, current, or even happening. It could be a bunch of rumors or things that they overheard, and they're just spreading that around to whomever they speak with. But more importantly, any arrangements that involve communities such as pre-patch testing cannot and will not be structured or run in a way that allows any advantage, whether real or even just perceived. Until now, we have worked closely with a guild. The guild that they're talking to is Subterfuge, which is the whole reason this whole thing blew up, is because they did work closely with a specific guild. For pre-patch testing, because they were self-organized, insanely competent, and have and saved us the huge administrative effort required to marshal testing forces when needed. But guilds compete. With that comes a great deal of passion and potentially volatile, especially when there is any perceived risk of a guild receiving unfair advantages. We thought we could contain the risk, but this turned out to be overly optimistic and just plain wrong. Thank you for admitting that that is just plain wrong, because that's huge. And then this next statement right here, I should not have allowed it and take full responsibility for the poor judgment and not stopping it. So this right here is probably my favorite thing that has said. Somebody's finally just taking responsibility. Just own it. Be like, yes, we messed up. We shouldn't have done that. Let's move forward. That, I think, should go a long way with helping to restore some of that lost integrity that VR has shown us over the past week or so. I'm hoping that helps out. It helps out with me quite a bit. I know that a lot of people are going to look at this and say that's just, legal jargon, etc., whatever you want to call it. But it does go a long way when anyone admits, hey, I've made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Let's move forward. I really appreciated that. Other actions we will be taking to improve our procedures without negatively affecting the game experience during EA will include, and they've got a list of things here. So internal testers will under no circumstances test on live servers. So they're going to actually have internal testers not testing on live servers. So we're going to get away from the specific guilds testing stuff and do internal testers. I personally think that they just need to open up a PTR. They can patch the PTR first, and then once they leave that out for a week or so or a few days, whatever, and then once we find out if that works, move it over to the live server. Just patch one server and everyone can get on there and test it and do whatever they want to do. If people want to play exclusively on the PTR server, they can do that. And then you can wipe the PTR server, once a month if you want to. Do whatever you want with it. I think that they should open up a PTR server during this early access process. I think that would be the smartest thing to do and allow everyone to be involved in it. But they're going to do internal testing, and that's also okay, assuming that that goes well. Only authorized customer service and community management staff will be permitted to perform GM commands that spawn or despawn NPCs or items on live servers. All other staff will have those powers revoked on live servers, including myself. Again, this right here should have been what was in an early access from the very beginning. It's fine when it was in, the pre-alpha testing and only people that were, pledgers or whatever were playing, and there were weekend tests only, all of that kind of stuff. That's fine back then. But since early access started, policies should have changed. And again, I'm going to say that, they're taking full responsibility of it and those poor judgment, et cetera. So they've already taken their full responsibility. I'm not trying to rehash it. I'm just saying that these things, I'm glad that they're making these changes. We have posted our internal community engagement guidelines right here, and I will put this down in the link below for all those, or down in the description, for all those to see and review. Hold us to them. This is huge right here. Hold us to them. We will go over those community guidelines here in a second. We log all GM activity. This log will be openly available to all team leaders, and I will review it several times a week personally. Thank you for being part of the Pantheon community. We take our passion, whether positive, concerned, frustrated, or angry, et cetera. We hope these actions will ease your concerns and demonstrate that we listen. So this is obviously a very well-written, response. And a lot of people will take this as just trying to please the community. But I, for one, appreciate this response. No matter how anyone takes it, I appreciate that they came out and said this, and then they shared these community guidelines. So let's take a look at the community guidelines. So staff guidelines for all Pantheon, or all platforms of engagement. So on all platforms is here. So maintain professionalism with clear and concise language. Keep in mind that if you say something, it will be shared as official word. I've been screaming this forever, and I'm tired of, hearing rumors from devs or, this might be happening. This might be happening. I try to say, when I hear something from a dev, I try to repeat that as a dev said this and it might be happening. But a lot of the community hears a dev say something and they are saying, whoa, this is definitely 100% happening. And it's causing a lot of issues within the community. So I'm glad that they are taking that extra step and just saying, you know what? Let's just have one person say it and make sure that what that person says is the factual statement. Everything else we can just assume is maybe hearsay, whatever, rumors, until that one person comes out and says it for sure and confirms it. Nothing is ever kept secret. Do not engage community members in confidential discussions. This is another really, really big one. As devs become friends with some of the community, they might, say, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, this is coming in. You might want to get prepared for this, etc. They may not be giving them actual information. They might just be saying, hey, you might want to consider this thing over here. That can also cause a disruption in the community. Only share confirmed and approved information. If you aren't sure, ask. Do not share personal opinions in an official VR capacity. This one right here had me a little bit worried because I know a lot of people love Joppa's stream. I also love Joppa's stream. I appreciate what he does. But at some point, it's, he is sharing his opinions quite a bit. He's not doing so in an official capacity. However, he is a dev that is streaming, and a lot of the community gets that confused. A lot of the community feels like Joppa's stream is an official stream. It is not an official stream, and Joppa has said so many, many times, and I'm sure he's tired of repeating it at this point. He is doing that. Personally, I don't know how that's going to affect his streams going forward. I have heard, again, rumors. I have heard that it is not going to affect his stream, and Joppa still will be streaming. However, we'll have to see how that plays out. I'm hoping that if Joppa does continue to stream, I hope that he does, like he's been enjoying it. I know a lot of the community's been enjoying it, and I wish him the best of luck with that. But I hope if he does that, some of the things that he says is a little bit more clear with the community, that they are his opinions or his ideas or his thoughts or whatever, and they are not that of the VR team, and they may not come into the game. A lot of things that Joppa says may not make it into the game, whether he wants them to or doesn't want them to. He's not the final say, and he said this himself. He's not the final say. There are other people that have opinions and stuff. So I want everybody to be very clear on that. We'll move on. Do not engage in debate. This is another big one. This is what caused me the biggest headache, in my opinion, was the amount of VR representatives that were constantly just debating with the community debating back with the VR representatives. It just became out of control and out of hand. And I'm glad that they put this in here. If a debate starts, which they actually talk about down here, just move on. Never dismiss concerns. Another very big one. Don't dismiss a concern, no matter how small it is. Acknowledge it. We know, we hear you. Thank you for letting us know. We will take a look at it. And that's it. Escalate to the appropriate staff or link to ticket support for complex issues. And this one right here, disengage private discussion and escalate when players become abusive. Notice it says when players become abusive, because unfortunately, it's the internet. It's going to happen almost inevitably that somebody will start to say something or do something, and it's going to set somebody else off, and it causes a cascade, ripple effect, whatever. This goes on to talk about Steam, forums, Reddit, and just the way that they're going to go about that, which is mostly the same stuff. But I do want to go over the ones down here at the in-game. So in addition to all above rules, staff is expected to adhere to the following while interacting with players in-game. Do not provide levels, items, resurrections, or other in-game assistance unless under the official duties of your job or as directed by the management team. Each team member has a personal game account, which should be used when playing Pantheon. So they should not be getting on their GM accounts or anything of that sort. They should be playing, if they're playing at home, play your normal account at home. If you're playing in a VR capacity, play on your GM account and only do the things that you're supposed to be doing as a GM account. I personally feel like those accounts should be separate. If you are a GM of a specific server, you are not allowed to play on that same server, or if you have a character on a certain server, you're not allowed to GM on that server. Just make that a rule and make sure that the community, the VR team is split up into different servers and they're not all playing together on one server, because then there won't be any GMs left unless you get other people to fill that role. We've had that issue in previous games. I know that I knew a guild in EverQuest 1 and in EverQuest 2, both of which had multiple GMs in them, and it gave them a huge advantage. Of course, this was during live, not during early access, but still, we all know how that turns out, whether it's actual real help or some sort of perceived help, doesn't really matter. It messes with the community, as they stated previously in that statement. If you are performing tasks in an official capacity, use your GM tag account only. Any questions on what is an acceptable action must be directed to the director of customer service. Never reveal your identity and position as a member of the Visionary Realms when playing. This is to protect your privacy and your personal time and enjoyment when playing. This one right here, I think, is huge. Like, how many people knew that Alma and GM Rizel, and then I guess there was another character that they had. I don't even know the name of it. I don't know. All three of those people were the same person. That was a problem, right? That was a big problem that anyone would even know that information. And that's because it's been, constantly those kinds of things have been happening. Not trying to point fingers at anyone. Obviously, they're rectifying the situation, but we as the community shouldn't be able to go, oh, that GM is this player, is this person on Discord, is this person on Reddit, if we don't know that information, if the community doesn't know that information, it's way, way more difficult to point fingers and make accusations that may or may not be true. So hopefully going forward, that solves that problem. Anyway, that is this statement. I'm hoping, like I said, to not have to go over this again. If something else new comes up, of course, I will cover it for you all because, to me, it is very important that we are all on the same page. I know not everyone comes to Discord. Not everyone goes to Reddit. We all get our news about games in different ways. So I just want to make sure we have one more avenue for those that wanted it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will be streaming live as usual over on Twitch. So come on over with any questions that you may have, and I will be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.